In the fading light of a dying afternoon, when the wind carried the taste of dust and memories long forgotten, a stagecoach rolled into the abandoned ghost town of Hollow Creek, its wheels creaking like something unwilling to breathe in a place so empty. Inside sat Eleanor Whitlock, a mail-order bride with trembling hands folded over a worn leather suitcase and a heart full of rehearsed hope. She had crossed 3 states, suffered 2 dust storms, and endured nights where the sky sounded like it might collapse, all for a man she had never met but who had promised her a future, comfort, companionship, and a fresh beginning far away from the grief she carried like a second skin. But when the stagecoach stopped and the driver mumbled, "This is the place," she stepped down expecting to see her groom waiting. Maybe nervous, maybe excited. Instead, she found silence. Only the decaying remains of old buildings stared back at her with hollow windows, the kind that made her feel like she'd arrived at a graveyard of lives that once mattered. Her heart thudded painfully. She walked forward, calling softly for the man whose letters had once warmed her nights. But there was no answer, only the echo of her own voice mocking her with the truth. She had been abandoned. Panic whispered in her ear, telling her she'd made the worst mistake of her life, that she'd left behind everything only to land in a place that had nothing left to give. But before fear could fully drown her, she heard heavy footsteps, slow and steady, coming from the far end of the dusty street. Out of the haze stepped a tall figure, strong-shouldered, soot-stained, wrapped in a leather apron that had clearly endured years of work and weather. A blacksmith. His name, she would soon learn, was Jacob Hart, a man whose life revolved around iron, fire, and silence. He blinked at her like she was some strange vision the desert had conjured. She blinked back, praying he wasn't another ghost of this forgotten town. He asked her what she was doing here, and when she explained, awkwardly, shakily, that she had come for a groom who apparently wanted nothing more than to vanish from his responsibilities, Jacob's jaw tightened with a mix of anger and pity. He didn't say much, but he looked at her like she wasn't just another lost soul. He offered her water, then shelter, then warmth near the forge where an old iron pot simmered over fire. For the first time since stepping off that coach, she didn't feel completely alone. Hollow Creek, though abandoned, still had one heartbeat left, and it was standing right in front of her with calloused hands and eyes. That held more kindness than he knew how to express. As night fell and shadows stretched long across the empty street, Eleanor realized that sometimes fate shattered your plans only to guide you toward something unexpected. She didn't know yet what Jacob would become to her, but she knew one thing: her story wasn't over. It was just beginning. Quietly, slowly, hand went to her chest as though making sure the little girls were truly pointing at her. For the first time that day, the widow felt seen. Not judged, not pitied, just seen. Luke's stomach twisted. Girls, no. But Emma and Ellie weren't wrong. They saw something no adult in that room could see. Gentleness. Sheriff Collins smirked. Well, Mara Delton, do you agree? The entire town leaned forward like vultures. Mara looked at Luke, really looked at him. She saw a man tired of being misjudged. A man who protected his daughters with a fierce, quiet love. A man who had probably been alone far too long. Then she looked at the little girls. Wide eyes, shaking hands, pure innocence. Something inside her softened. If these children trust me, she said slowly, then I won't say no. The courthouse exploded into whispers. Some were angry, some amused, some jealous. But Luke froze, stunned, confused, grateful, terrified, all at once. Sheriff Collins slammed the gavel again. Then we have a deal. Luke Mercer is free. The woman has accepted. Just like that. The outsider had a family he didn't choose, but maybe desperately needed. As the crowd dispersed, Luke approached Mara with the twins beside him. The girls hugged her legs as if she'd always belonged to them. Luke cleared his throat, awkward and unsure. You didn't have to do that. Mara gave a small, warm smile. Sometimes all it takes is one yes to change someone's whole life. The twins tugged at Mara's dress excitedly. Do we get to go home together now? For now, Mara said, brushing their hair gently. One step at a time. For the first time in years, Luke saw something in Mara's eyes. Not pity, not fear, but understanding. The kind that comes from someone who has also known loss. Someone who knows the ache of silence after a loved one is gone. The next morning, as the sun rose over Dustfield County, the small, unlikely family walked through town. Hand in hand, people stared, whispered, judged, but the twins didn't care. They swung Luke's and Mara's hands playfully as they skipped down the dusty street. Papa got us a mama, they sang. Mara blushed. Luke looked away, cheeks red, but somewhere deep inside, Something warm flickered. Maybe this strange, unexpected union wasn't a burden. Maybe it was a beginning. As they stepped through the wooden gate of Luke's old ranch, Mara paused to take it in. The broken fence, the tired horses, the lonely silence. "This place needs a woman's touch," she murmured. Luke smiled slightly, almost shy. And maybe the man needed a woman's heart. The twins erupted into giggles. Life, the town soon realized, had shifted, not through force, not through fate, but through the simple, powerful innocence of two little girls who saw kindness where others saw nothing. Dustfield County had witnessed countless tragedies, but that day it witnessed a miracle. A new family built not from romance, but from hope. And sometimes hope, quiet whisper of desert wind and the glow of Jacob's forge fire, their stories intertwined, two abandoned hearts choosing, at last, not to be abandoned anymore. And as their journey began, Eleanor realized that fate hadn't betrayed her after all. It had simply led her to the man who would change her life in ways she never imagined.